Real estate fundamentals. Freehold estate. Ownership of property for an indefinite duration, e.g. fee simple or life estate. Leasehold estate. Possession of property for a fixed, limited time under a lease. Fee simple absolute, the highest form of ownership, unconditional and unlimited in duration. Fee simple defeasible, qualified fee, ownership that can be lost upon the occurrence of a specified event. Life estate, ownership limited to someone's lifetime, ends upon death. Per autre vie, life estate based on the life of another person. Hashtag deeds and title. Deed, the legal document that transfers ownership, title, of property. Habendum clause, the to have and to hold clause that defines ownership extent. Grantor, the seller or person conveying ownership. Grantee, the buyer or person receiving ownership. Requirements for a valid deed. Competent grantor, definite grantee, legal description, and grantor's signature. Abstract of title, a chronological summary of recorded ownership and liens. Title insurance protects against past defects in title. Contracts and agency. Express contract, terms stated in words, written or oral. Implied contract, created by the actions of the parties. Executed contract, fully performed by both parties. Executory contract, not yet fully performed. Rescission, cancellation of a contract, restores parties to original positions. Novation, substitution of a new contract or party for an old one. Assignment, transfer of contract rights to another party. Waiver, voluntarily giving up a legal right. Agency types. Universal agent, can act in all matters on behalf of the principal. General agent, authorized for a series of transactions, e.g., property manager. Special specific agent, authorized for one specific act, e.g., listing agent. Limited agency, disclose dual agency. One broker represents both buyer and seller with written consent. In-house sale, both parties represented by agents from the same brokerage. Appraisal principles and methods. Principle of anticipation. Value is based on expected future benefits. Principle of conformity. Value is maximized when properties are similar. Principle of substitution. No one pays more for an identical substitute. Principle of regression. Higher value property loses value near lower value properties. CIDUS, economic location, desirability based on surroundings. Market data, sales comparison approach, compares similar sold properties. Cost approach, value what's cost to rebuild, depreciation plus land value. Income approach, based on property's income producing potential. Gross rent multiplier, GRM, shortcut for estimating value of income property. Narrative appraisal report, detailed appraisal format used for commercial property. Financing and loans. Primary mortgage market, where loans are originated, banks, lenders. Secondary mortgage market, where existing loans are sold, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. Fannie Mae, major purchaser of conventional loans. Freddie Mac purchases conventional loans from smaller banks. Ginnie Mae, government-owned, guarantees FHA VA loans. FHA loan, government-insured, low down payment, 3.5%. VA loan for veterans, no down payment required. Conventional loan not insured or guaranteed by government. Subordination agreement keeps second lien in junior position after refinance. TRID, TILA RESPA integrated disclosure, enforced by the CFPB. Closing disclosure, CD. Final summary of loan terms and costs. Taxes and value, property tax proration. Dividing annual taxes between buyer and seller at closing. Special assessment, tax for public improvements, e.g. sidewalks. Capital gains, profit from sale of property subject to tax. Mortgage interest deduction, tax benefit for homeowners. Property tax deduction, annual taxes paid can be deducted from income taxes. Government powers and laws, police power, government's right to regulate for health, safety, and welfare. Eminent domain, government's power to take private property for public use, with compensation. Condemnation, the actual process of taking property under eminent domain. Inverse condemnation, when property owners sue the government for damaging their property. Escheat, property reverts to the state when someone dies with no heirs. Variance, permission to deviate from zoning regulations. Buffer zone, land separating different zoning uses, e.g. residential from commercial. Fair housing and discrimination. Fair Housing Act prohibits housing discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, or familial status. Utah Additional Protected Classes, sexual orientation, gender identity, source of income. HUD, enforces federal fair housing laws. ECOA, Equal Credit Opportunity Act, prohibits lending discrimination based on age, race, gender, etc. Hash water and land use, Utah specific. State engineer oversees all water rights in Utah. Water rights, legal right to divert and use water for a beneficial purpose. Utah Uniform Land Sales Practices Act requires subdivision registration with the Utah DRE. Property ownership and rights, appurtenant, attached to and runs with the land, e.g. easements, water rights. Easement, the right to use another's land for a specific purpose. Encumbrance, a claim, lien, or liability attached to property. Chattel, personalty, movable personal property, not real estate. Fixture, personal property that becomes real property when attached. Land description systems, meets and bounds, describes boundaries using directions and distances. Rectangular, government survey system, uses townships, ranges, and sections. Lot and block system, based on recorded subdivision plat maps. Property management agreement, contract between owner and manager that must include parties to the contract, term, start and end date, money handling provisions, duties of a property manager, maintain property, handle finances, and report to owner. Miscellaneous key terms, latent defect, hidden defect not visible or discoverable by a normal inspection. Breach of contract, failure to fulfill terms of an agreement. Specific performance, court order requiring a party to perform under the contract. Actual eviction, landlord's legal removal of a tenant. Constructive eviction, tenant leaves because landlord made the property uninhabitable. Situs, the physical and economic location of a property that affects value, location plus desirability.